We have before us the opportunity to forge, for ourselves and for future generations, a new world order, a world where the rule of law and the law of the jungle governs the conduct of nations.
A warlord is a leader able to exercise military, economic, and political control over a subnational territory within a sovereign state due to their ability to mobilize loyal armed forces. These armed forces, usually considered malicious, are loyal to the warlord rather than to the state regime. Warlords have existed throughout much of history, albeit in a variety of different capacities within the political, economic, and social structure of states or ungoverned territories. Welcome to Internet Warlords, the war for the Internet. Every day billions of people around the planet engage in a deadly war for the minds of mankind. Internet Warlords podcast is dedicated to winning the war for the Internet. Each week, we will feature the best and the worst of the Internet in our never-ending quest to end the war for the Internet. Are you ready? Buckle up, check your feelings at the door. Sensitive individuals that need to be protected from reality need go no further. Internet Warlords does not condone violence, nor do we give legal advice. Any individuals featured on this broadcast are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Well, I'm not a crook.
As we do our final broadcast checks, please take this time to go to internetwarlords.com and find out how you can help support this broadcast. We have apparel and other items available at our online store. Donations are always appreciated but never expected. Please do enjoy yourself and feel free to call in at any time. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to hit the bell icon for live notifications. Welcome to Internet Warlords. Let the war begin. Now your host, the CEO of Internet Warlords, CJ Abernathy.
Together, we will make America great again.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy CJ, the Internet Warlord, coming to you live from the great state of North Dakota. You know North Dakota. It's the state just south of North Dakota, the state formerly known as South Dakota, until the Queen of Meth herself, Governor Kristi Noem, declared by proclamation that we're all on meth. And since then, I think the apocalypse has literally started. But what could I say? I told you so. I mean, if the big old asteroid was coming down from the sky and it was going to impact Earth, do you think that anybody would want to be sitting here with me saying, I told you so? No, probably not. Probably not. But today is going to be filled with a bunch of I told you so's. Good morning, Mr. Baxley. I still haven't got your hat sent out yet. Something about smoking cannabis and driving just seemed a little off to me yesterday, so I'm going to have to wait till I can get a good, clear day, if you know what I mean. Especially given the subjects we've been talking about, I just felt it responsible to take a nap instead. This hat's not, it's going to get to your head one way or another, but do it the right way. So, and as well, good morning, my fellow equity slave, Mr. Dombrowski. Nice intro. Yeah, it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work to get there. So, if anybody wants to join the show, there is a Patreon link. If you're a Patreon member, you can join this broadcast. It's shared to my socials, so it's real easy to find if you want to join today. But as always, it's the one way that you can show your support is by helping me out over on Patreon. Now, I don't have the shop up yet for Internet Warlords, and to be honest, I haven't done much with the site since I got deep into the politic of the Libertarian Party of South Dakota. So it's just a landing page for now, but you can contact me there if you absolutely need to. There will be a shop, and we will be working on that here moving forward. But again, just to knock out these advertisements. Patreon, what I've been talking about here, is the only way you're going to be able to communicate with me really while I'm live streaming in the future. As much as I love a lot of your smiling faces and your beautiful, lovely brain noodle thoughts, I can't stand seeing that you all have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds. So for those of you that have attention spans that can be measured in longer than attention spans that can last nanoseconds, we have Patreon, and Patreon is just a great way to show your support. If you actually enjoy somebody's content and you're participating in their content and you support them and what they're doing, it's a great way. So I have $5, $10, $20 packages here. $5, you're a little warlord, you know, you're not trying to take over the web. You're just here to browse. You just wanted to watch, you know, comment, you know, you want to be able to throw up a comment, and then that way it gets read on the air. Good morning, Jody. Good morning, Mike. Good also assumes the adjective of my day. As we discussed on yesterday's show, the meaning of good and the adjective that it represents has two different meanings. One is seeking approval. The other is the status of a day. So good does assume the adjective of my day, but I take it to mean as in like, may your day be excellent. May your day be better than it was yesterday. So in that case, good morning to all. So $10 a month, that's where I will let you literally interrupt me any time of the day whenever I check my messages here on Telegram. And the private behind-the-scenes stuff I'll be doing there only on Telegram, where, again, you won't know what's going on. And for $20 a month, I will call you a warlord. Like, all right, respect. You're a warlord. Like, you are an internet warlord. I will salute to you, sir, every month. Ma'am, you want to be a warlord? All day long. And I will let you literally make my phone ring whenever you damn well please, because you're the one paying me. So my job is to answer it when you call, right? Now, again, I'll have my voicemail set up, and I'll try to get back to you. But you're thinking to yourself, like, CJ, Patreon is just like, why would you want to do that? You know, like, well, I'm glad you asked, because really, Patreon makes it so you have to fulfill your benefits to your patrons, or they don't charge your patrons. So if I'm not providing you what the sticker claims on the front of the cover there, you can even leave me a review on the way out. Be like, I'd never give this guy $5 again. I gave this guy $20 for 6 months. He's a douchebag, or I like the guy. Either way, you can review me too. But I like Patreon. It's going to be what I do, whether there's 0 Patreons or I had all 1,800 of my friends on Facebook. Now think about that. If I had all 1,800 of my friends on Facebook supporting me on Patreon, I could do this full time, no problems, and all it costs you is a cup of coffee. So speaking of coffee, I haven't had any yet. So, let me put a legal drug in my body real quick before we argue morality on other things. Yes, for my love's purpose, Kendall said she'd prefer this one to be coffee in a conversation. I can easily, if I wanted to, just go, I don't know what you meant. Like, it just happened, but we'll go with coffee this morning. I need some coffee. Wait, did my logo not show up at the bottom of that? Oh, it didn't. Boom, there we go. Well, that's kind of weird. Either way. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a long broadcast, so buckle up. You know, pause it if you listen to me in 2x speed because you're mentally retarded and you need to do that. That's fine. Not that I'm saying you're mentally retarded, but slow it down a little bit there. You know, enjoy the real time, the real world. Let's see, that's Internet Warlords. Boom. Let's go ahead and just throw this one here. I think I spelled it right. Boom. We'll talk about the topic of today's show. Jason Ravnsborg, the Attorney General for the great state of North Dakota, is going to get away with vehicular homicide. That is the topic of today's show, so it's going to be a long one. We've got a guest joining us from Hedgehog Watchdog podcast out here in South Dakota, well, North Dakota. Mr. Devin Saxon, guy running for chair of the Libertarian Party of South Dakota. Let's see, what else? I've got some things lined up for you. But again, if you'd like to join this broadcast, the Patreon link is a behind the paywall over on my social media feed there on Facebook. And if anybody'd like to join, so be it. If not, I'm just going to talk. That's how this is going to work. I'm not going to be interrupted unless, I choose to be. So kind of like the way this is going to work in the future. Like, go forward with no distractions, unless it's people I enjoy. I like that. So, without further ado, we've got a lot to cover here. And we're going to start just right off the bat with the top of where we're at right now before we go back in our time machine. Video shows agents confront South Dakota Attorney General about deadly crash. Quote, his face was in your windshield. Now, if they would have led with this kind of story out the gate, it would have flipped public perception. Everybody knows this. His story wouldn't have added up out the gate. Public perception of this story. Remember, the government only needs to convince the retarded and the elderly. Not that these two are, exclusive to each other, but the mentally retarded and the elderly. Mostly, I'd say if you're on Social Security disability past that certain age point, you're that target audience of stupid that they need to control. Okay? So if they can just get your coffee circles in the morning being like, well, maybe, people can literally get away with homicide, hit and run at this point. Because your generation is the generation that allowed this government to begin with. Your generation is the one that fucked up this whole system to begin with. Leaving it to my generation to continuously call out the crimes of your generation against my generation. The generational crime that is being taken, the robbery and the theft and the taxation, the extortion, the inflation, the debt, all the scams set up by your generation. All the laws set up by your generation, enforced by your generation, not mine. So, really just tired of old people being stupid, but, it's easier to say it that way. South Dakota lawmakers on Tuesday began impeachment proceedings against the state's attorney general, who's only facing, I'm going to put only in there, is only facing misdemeanor charges for striking and killing a man, which should say hitting a man and leaving him for dead on the side of the road after knowing that he hit a person with his car and already under pressure to resign. A bipartisan group of lawmakers filed a resolution in the House to impeach the state's top law enforcement officer, Jason Ravnsborg, after he indicated he would not heed calls for his resignation. Now listen, Jason, you got some balls. I'm not going to take that from you. To try to get away with homicide, you've got to have huge balls. Like, all right. In fact, Jason, on that Internet Warlord site, there's a way for you to contact me if you absolutely need to. And I would bring you on a broadcast any day of the week. I'd let you take over all of my screen. And you can explain to my audience how you're not a murderer. And why you shouldn't be put on trial for hit and run vehicular homicide. And there's a reason why I'm saying hit and run vehicular homicide. The officer involved may be aiding and abetting at this point. There may be some more corruption that's just not being exposed because they'll redact video. They'll release it to the public, redacted. Now they'll say, his address, his phone number. Fine, I'll give it that. But 73 seconds of him having a meltdown? Interesting. Interesting how that works out. Interesting. So the Republican Attorney General faces 3 misdemeanor charges, but no felony in the September death of Joseph Bover. I hope I'm saying that right. Governor Kristi Noem released video. Oh, look, is this somebody who's actually making my phone ring? No, it's my alarm. I wish it was one of you guys paying me to make my phone ring. That'd be great. Be like, hello, you helped pay this phone bill. How can I help you today? So Governor Kristi Noem, the Queen of Meth, released the videos. Now, I want you to listen to this. The Queen of Meth releases these videos. And what's funny is in the interview that we're about to watch and break down with Mr. Saxon today, Jason actually fears the Queen of Meth. He actually makes it a point to show his fear of the Queen of Meth. Governor Kristi Noem released videos of Ravnsborg's 2 interviews with law enforcement late Tuesday. In the videos, investigators confront the Attorney General with the gruesome details of the crash, at one point telling him, his face was in your windshield, Jason. Think about that. And he did. And he freaks out. And he has a panic attack. And we're going to watch it today. Because, of course we are. I've watched it all already. But it's important for me in when I say he has committed a vehicular homicide hit and run. It's very specific words. I pride myself on saying specific words that have specific meaning. And the fact that he is getting away with a vehicular homicide hit and run today is incredible to me. It's a fascinating story. Ravnsborg appeared unsure of many details in the crash, but investigators told him Bover's glasses had been found in the Attorney General's Ford Taurus, and bone scrapings were found on the highway shoulder, as investigators described how his car swerved onto the shoulder and struck Bover, causing major damage to the car hood and windshield. Ravnsborg appears distressed. I never saw him, he told investigators. I never saw him. Well, you know what? Richard Nixon was not a crook either. And in fact, I considered packing my bowl and taking a hit every single time that the Attorney General, the murderous Attorney General here, says the words, I didn't see him, I thought it was a deer, or some other creature comfort statement. Like, the more you say this, Jason, the more I think that you're telling me a lie. It's kind of like if my 6-year-old daughter sat there and goes, I didn't spill the milk, and I'm looking at the milk and it's like, it's spilt, well, who spilt the milk? I don't know. Well, who spilt it? It's only you sitting here. And just constant, like, I didn't spill the milk, but they'll lie because they think the consequence of telling the truth, or they think the consequences of maintaining the lie are less than the consequences of telling the truth. And I've had this experience with my daughter. Did you feed the dog? Did you feed Daisy? Yeah, I did. I look at her, did you really? And her whole demeanor changes, like she just got caught in a lie. And you're like, oh, well, did you really? And then after some picking and prodding and poking, no, I didn't. Well, why did you lie to me? Because I thought that I was going to get in trouble. Well, no, you're going to get in trouble for what you did, but now you're going to make it worse because you lied to me about what you did. And I think that's a common parenting thing. I think that anybody that's a parent has experienced some form or facet to the discussion I'm having with you right now. So, again, keep in mind the 911 call, he has embellished multiple times in every facet of what he's doing. So we're not going to walk through the whole first 1 hour and 7 minutes of this video. It's just way too long for me to cover all of what I want to today. But there is a part in here where the investigators, this is the most important part, I think, of this, because you basically get everything in the first video where he like sets the table, where he's putting all his cards on the table, and investigators are just going like, okay, he's got a 2 of clubs, he's got a 3 of diamonds, he might be hoping for a straight draw. Yeah, he's got junk hands to begin with. But anyways, I want you to notice what they say in the beginning of this.
Okay. So, I'm thinking we'll just do a real light, make it voluntary. The thing is voluntary. I know they're recording, but I don't trust those. I don't know how many times they've had where, yeah, sometimes that doesn't work.
All right, so clearly within the first 1 minute, you hear them saying they're going to do their own recording. They don't trust cameras or that, and they know, I'd have to assume these guys are professionals, and they know that they're on government cameras, so whatever gets released is going to be government approved and government redacted. So, and there is video footage in there is video footage in the archive here that has been redacted, and it does not relate to phone numbers, cell phones, anything personal that would be considered self-doxing. Yeah, these two are the investigators. Get to know them. They're from the great state of North Dakota, where I was born, the state that doesn't confuse cannabis with medicine. Or doesn't confuse cannabis and medicine, because they are one and the same. The state just 12 miles north of me, where freedom is just a little bit more apparent there, even though is it really freedom? I don't know. You tell me. But as you can see, it all seems more. It seems more staged as he gets in. But we'll listen to the first few minutes here.
Card right away, so I don't
That's good, yeah.
give it to you. I am the case agent for the Bureau in North Dakota, and our needs the supervisory special agents out here helping with it. So
Assume you're similarly set up to us, yes, okay.
yeah.
We are.
I'm talking to Dave.
Okay. All right. Well, we're out here trying to help piece this all together, and so we just want to get your take on what happened, what your recollection is.
Yeah.
There's no criminal charges filed right now. You're free to go at any time. Any questions that we ask, if you don't want to answer any of them, just let us know. Like I said, you are free to leave. At any point, if you decide you want to leave, just let us know you're done, and you can either walk out or we'll escort you out, however you want to do that. If at any point you decide that you don't want to talk anymore, we'll just end the interview, okay? So let me just get some basic information.
So yeah, he'll get some basic information. I wanted to play the first part of this for all obvious reasons here. He's going to get some personal information, where you're from, your address. They do redact some of this information. I would say that if the full video got released, that 70 those seconds are actually him stating his address. That's fine. But I like how the Queen of Meth put this out, because she had to have known that somebody like me is going to go, I already have a sleeping problem and I've got 4 hours to kill in the morning. Let me put together a special about how she, along with this guy, are two of the most corrupt individuals on the planet, and just give me all the evidence in the morning. I mean, it's like a gift. It's a gift. So, again, if you're just tuning in and like to join this broadcast and have a conversation with the Attorney General getting away with murder, hit and run vehicular homicide, the link is on my Facebook page. It's for my Patreon members. It's already there. So if you're a Patreon member, you can join the broadcast anytime. Click the link. It's not that complicated. It's less than a cup of a coffee at your local Starbucks. Yeah, so
And what is
That's
that?
the office.
Office?
All right, so he's still giving information. But again, this interview, we're not going to play, but here's what I am going to do for those of you that want to doubt or anything. I'm going to show you where it's located here. It was posted to, and it was a hidden link, by the way, as you can see here. The Ravnsborg interview, it's unlisted, so that means it leaked. This is what you call a leaked video, okay? Where 8,009, a little under 9,000 people have seen this video, okay? But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this link. All right, and then I'm going to paste that for any of you guys that want to pull that up and watch it. For any of you people that want to see the actual link to it, that's where it's at. Let's hope that it actually gets more views than what it is. A lot of these are people like me that have clicked in multiple times to see what's going on, but yeah, let me go ahead here and bada bing, bada boom. All right, let's go ahead and see where he's at now. Yeah, he's still redacting, and you can hear it in the redaction. It's muted. They're talking. He's giving his address / phone number, where he lives, blah blah blah. They're not saying like, all right, so what's your guys' bank account numbers, anything like that. They're not like, so again, when they cut the mic, they're not trying to bribe. He's not trying to bribe these investigators. So let's not get too crazy with our conspiracies about what might be being said when the 73-second redaction comes through to the public. Like, think about that. Christie Noam released these, okay? She released these. This is how corruption works, okay? She released it through which of their departments? She released it through the Department of Public Safety. Hello, McFly. Department of Public Safety. She said to release the footage. Release the hounds! Release the footage! And so, again, here we are with the Queen of Meth with a power move. But somewhere in these two interviews, he says something. He says something that for 73 seconds, the Queen of Meth said, no, the public does not get to listen to this. That is longer than the Watergate tapes from Nixon. And she's redacting this to the public. Him spazzing out after being confronted with the footage. Yeah, I'm terrible when it comes to Christmas time. I'll be like, it's Legos! And I'll hand you your gift. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So. And I'm live talking about it now. CJ. Boom. Ta-da! So again, I'm just going to sit here and tell you, I told you so. I told you so. But let's go past this a little bit. I'm trying to watch the clock here because I've got about 2 hours that I can do this for.
That's when we get in touch with you at.
Okay, so we're going to have to skip around towards the end here on this one. This is where they're like, can we see your phones?
That's where the probably gonna, for them, suck more data because they're more pictures.
I'm doing this part here. I want this part to be at least on this record for part of my clues that the Attorney General is getting away with vehicular homicide here.
Leaked out.
Okay. Like I said, I didn't see anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess I would say I've hit a couple different deer through the year campaigning, and
Mm-hmm. Then you're on the road that much, I guess, more frequently.
I mean, I had one on by Wall, South Dakota. He stood right in the middle. It was truly what you'd think a deer in the headlights. You know,
So what this established right here in that one statement is that he has experience hitting deer in this state, and he could identify it easily. But anyways, they take his phone.
and I clipped him.
And this is what I want on the record.
But this one, I never saw anything.
So when you struck something, you didn't see anything even then, huh?
No,
Now remember that.
because it was more the jolt of it all.
How far did you end up going? Do you have, I mean, and I get it. It's, I mean,
Yeah, because
what's your feeling how far you went before you were able to get it to a complete stop?
I guess I would just be approximating, because I didn't. I guess I looked, looked at where that one quarter panel piece that's on the shoulder
Sure.
All right, remember where that 1/4 panel piece is.
was. You know,
Remember this part. I missed. Oh, there was a missed audio there. Okay, hold up.
scroll, you can see pictures
All right,
from
we'll watch
the
this
event.
again together.
Scroll. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Right.
Where was that? Here we go.
So again, so that's where it is when it stopped.
Okay.
To answer your question,
Okay.
I had jumped out, called 911, walked backwards towards town to confirm Highmore, scanning the ditch with my light, and came up and took that photo of with the car when it stopped.
Okay.
And then that's when the sheriff came, and I didn't take any more photos. I took one photo. I stopped because he came, so I thought I should pay attention to him.
Sure.
So that's where it is stopped. So I mean, if you can figure out where it stopped from that photo, yeah.
You didn't pull it further over onto the shoulder after that?
No.
So you left it there until...
And hazard lights are on, yeah.
Okay. Because it almost looks like there's a little bit of space between the shoulder. Just...
All right. So anyways, they take his phone. They make him sign a consent form. That's the pink slip. All right. And they're going to do his different phones. And it gets pretty long. Like, you guys think watching me in 2X is easy? Like, this interview could have been watched in 4X. And still. Yeah. Gee, I can't hear the sound from the video. Maybe that's on purpose? No. That was me hitting the wrong button. Gee, I went back to my point, though. I wanted him to have that context of of his initial response, because that story changes. And we got to get to it. So, So they did the initial interview. They took his phones. They let him speak on camera. They knew they were recording. They just wanted to get as much information as he was going to tell between the time he sits his ass down and the time that he stands his ass up. That's basically them just whatever he's going to put. Like, I've got a 3 of spades, and I'm looking at a flush draw right now, but I don't know. What's the odds on a flush draw? I don't have the nuts. Like, they're trying to make each other out. Not make out with each other, make each other out on topic. But anyways, that brings us to the second interview, right? And this is where I'm hoping to have Mr. Devin Saxton join me, but we're going to watch as much of this as we can until Devin gets here. So this one's going to be a buckle up, guys. Buckle up.
I've seen you last. My chief of staff's daughter got it.
Oh, no.
So my chief of staff, Tim, that you talked to.
Smoke it if you got it, guys. Smoke it if you got
it. Dave, the director, got it confirmed yesterday.
Oh, my.
Home. So like today, we had our DCI annual meeting actually over virtual instead of bringing everybody in. So.
Yeah, we had to cancel ours too. It was kind of a crazy deal, but
right.
Not much you can do. I mean, it's just too sketchy there. Too risky, really.
Yeah. So how's Dave doing? Is he feeling the symptoms of it, or?
Yes. So well, they tested him, and then he didn't. They had to cancel the test or something, and then they had to test him again, and then he said he had like every symptom that they could have, or 40 out of the 43 here.
Yeah. Because you're hearing about half the people don't have any symptoms.
Well, then I don't know when you guys in relation to they closed the schools here.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So
okay.
The high school, here and Fort Pierre both.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, we're still in like a hybrid system where like A through K go Monday and Wednesday and Friday, and then the next week go Tuesday, Thursday, and the other half go. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for it though, because our numbers in at least Burley and Morton are, I think today we had 85 in Burley and I think 45 in Morton, and Burley, Morton, got Mandan and Bismarck. It's kind of like Fort Pierre and Pierre.
Okay.
The river is the only thing that separates the two.
I guess I'm not as good with North Dakota geography. So where is Burley and Morton then?
Burley is Bismarck, so that's kind of central, and then you have the Missouri River that comes up.
Okay.
And so on the east side of the Missouri is Burley, on the west side is Morton.
Okay.
And so if you don't know the area, you wouldn't know if you're in Burley, Morton, Bismarck, or Mandan.
Right.
It all just is one.
Blends together.
It blends together.
Learned a little bit. I'm in the Army Reserves. I think I never told you last time, but my mission is actually to build a unit at Air in Bismarck.
Okay.
And they got a reserve center right by the airport.
Mm-hmm.
I went up, did site visits, talked to people, and then COVID hit, and everything's been on hold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've been doing virtual since. My unit's out of Fort McCoy, Wisconsin.
Okay.
I just don't want people crossing state lines.
So, one thing that I don't like about this is, well, first off, can anybody tell me what they're doing right now? If you're a law enforcement professional, can you tell me what they're doing right now? Anybody? Anybody out there a law enforcement professional? No, I'm not claiming to be one, but what is this called right here? Anybody? Anybody? I'm asking for a reason. Did I do it again? I did it again, didn't I?
And then COVID hit, and everything's been on hold.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
We've been doing virtual since. My unit's out of Fort McCoy, Wisconsin.
Okay.
I just don't want people crossing state lines.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
what was that
what
called?
we want to do is we want to go over everything again with you. As we've gathered more information, when we spoke with you, that was
early.
Yeah, you were
I
really
got
about
the smartest. I got the smartest audience.
So we've
we don't
just
mess
gathered
around.
some more information since then. So we want to kind of figure all that out. And again, no criminal charges have been filed against you. You're free to go at any time you want to. If you want to stop talking, you're free to leave. You can just get up and walk out. If you don't want to answer any of our questions, you just let us know that. This is a completely voluntary interview. So, all right.
You've
good
been
with
really
all-
cooperative. I've tried to do everything and think of everything I can think of to, and I've thought of a couple things, I guess.
Okay.
So as we go through it.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So we're just going to kind of recap some of what happened leading up to it.
Okay.
So on the 12th, you went to the Lincoln Day dinner, Spink County Lincoln Day dinner in Redfield, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That day, or like on the 11th, leading up to the 12th, what kind of sleep did you get? Do you remember?
I actually got a lot of sleep.
Okay.
Because some media reports where I went from Pierre to Rapid, that's actually was not my schedule. I was actually coming from Louisiana. We'd been down there for an event with the Attorney General of Louisiana, and I flew into Rapid City and went to an event there, a Lincoln Day dinner in Pennington County. That's the Rapid City's town, the county, to familiarize you.
And what day was that you flew into Rapid?
11th.
Okay.
So the night before Friday. And I went to the event, and I got home about 1:15 in the morning. But I slept in till 9:30, 10:30 in the morning. I had an event that I'd been invited to in Sisseton, South Dakota. And I just told them, I can't make it. It's too much to do that. Go all the way to Sisseton, which is in our northeast corner. I'm familiar with South Dakota geography, so I'm oversimplifying maybe, but it's in the northeast corner. That would have taken 4 hours from Pierre at least, and the event was at noon. So that means that I had to leave at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I just couldn't do that. So my day was 9:30, 10:30. I remember I got up, I slept in, and then I was around my office and the house until about 3 o'clock when I left to go to Redfield. So I think I had very adequate sleep. I didn't do anything vigorous. I didn't bale hay as I used to do as a kid, or something strenuous. So
how much sleep do you normally get on average in a day?
On a normal day, 7, 8 hours. 6, 7, 8 hours, depending on the day.
What time do you normally get up in the morning then?
7-ish. I'm usually at the office by 8-ish. Depends on my day and schedule. Obviously, my schedule changes dramatically. And the map's out and such, and depending on where you got to go. But I would say that is a normal day, and then I leave. I try to stay till 5-ish, at least, and then obviously depending on what work we've got and such, and obviously things are a little different now with COVID. We're not always in the office every day, a standard 8-hour day, because I don't want myself and my chief deputy and now my chief of staff, as I mentioned, all to be down at the same time.
Right.
Somebody's got to run the show, and so we've staggered. We've got staggered schedules a little bit.
Who's your chief deputy?
Chief deputy, his name is Charlie McWiggin, and I can spell all that if you need me to.
Yeah, you'll need.
Yep, Charlie is traditional, and then McWiggin, M-C, and little c, G-U-I-G-A-N.
Okay.
And Charlie has been the chief deputy for myself and Marty Jackley, my predecessor, and actually the end of Larry Long, his predecessor. So he's been chief deputy 10, 12 years, and he's been in the office about 25 years.
Oh, okay.
So he knows how the office and state government works, I guess.
Right. Okay. So then
I can get you his contact if you ever want to talk to him or anything.
Okay. Yeah. So then that day you went to the Lincoln Day dinner in Redfield. Again, you had said that you didn't have anything to drink that night.
I absolutely had zero alcohol to drink. I had a Coca-Cola. I had a steak. I don't know what kind of steak, but I had steak, and I had a baked potato. I remember that's the three things I remember eating, and that's why I tried to give you the waitress's name, and then I got the list of the people that were there and such, and try to verify that. But
and then what time did you leave the dinner?
9:15.
9:15
p.m. obviously.
Yep. Okay. And again, what roads did you take to come back?
I didn't look them up since you were here, but I can describe it yet.
Uh-huh.
Again, I left out of Redfield going west until you get to what I call the Miller Corner. There's a T intersection.
Okay.
That if you kept going straight, you'd go towards Faulkton is the town. And if you come to this corner and you go south, and you're going to go south to Miller, South Dakota.
Okay.
Which is in Han County. And then from Miller, that's 14, which is all the way here to Pierre.
Okay.
And beyond, but for these purposes, it's from Miller to here. So I made an S basically, or a.
Once you left the event, did you stop anywhere else along the way?
No, I believe so. No. No.
Okay. Do you remember what you were you listening to the radio, or what were you?
So when I left Redfield, you kind of had to snake through town because where this restaurant is.
Okay.
And then when I got out of town, I remember on that first leg, the Miller or the Redfield to the corner, I'd called my father.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not have. I have Sirius radio.
Okay.
So I turned down the volume, but I still had it on because the Lakers were playing.
Okay.
I remember the Lakers were playing Houston, and you can watch the score when that happens, when it's on. And I talked to my father, and I turned the corner, the Miller corner. I turned and talked to him, and then there's a dead zone there, and it dropped. And then when you got closer to Miller somewhere, I called him back, and all it was I didn't hang up on you call. Mm-hmm. It dropped. And
so you talked to him too about the Miller corner? Is that about?
Well, I mean,
so you left
piece of paper or something. I can just show you the thing. I went to the corner. I turned the corner, and it dropped somewhere there.
Okay.
Dead spot. And then as I got close to Miller, I tried again, and that's when I got him back. And I said, I didn't hang up on you, Dad. It dropped for some reason.
Right.
And like I said, that was not a long call. I mean, we kind of talked about what we were going to talk about, and then that was it.
Right. So that second call was just basically that. And the first call, really, yeah.
Right. I mean, I just
gotcha.
You don't be rude to people. You just, call you back that I didn't hang up on you.
Right. Okay. All right. So then, after you got off the phone with your dad the second time,
I didn't call anybody.
Okay.
Until after the crash. Well, I mean, until the 911 call, I guess.
Okay.
I mean,
so when you were driving, were you listening back to the game, or?
Nope, the game got over. I remember the game got over, and then the Twins also got over.
Okay.
And I remember shutting off the radio at some point, but I think that's closer to Highmore.
Okay. Did you listen to the end of the games, or were they already done when you got?
Somewhere I don't know where, the Twins, the last out. I mean, I remember hearing the last out, but I don't know exactly where that was.
Okay.
And I think the Laker game was already over. The Twins was later than the basketball.
Okay. All right. So once the baseball game was over, what did you do with the radio?
I think it was still on.
Okay.
But not, I think I shut it off when I got closer to, when I got, around Highmore.
Okay. Why'd you shut it off?
Well, we have to fast forward then a little bit.
Okay. Oh, we can go back.
So
kind of walk me through it.
So again, I turned the Miller corner, the second Miller corner, I guess, the one going now to Highmore, and I'm driving along, and then I get to Highmore, and that's when I look to the right and I look to the left as I was going through town. I was thinking about getting gas. In the one station to the south or to the left, there was a guy, and I remember his car was pointing back east, and he had his, in the gas pump, and it looked closed though. And I'm like, okay. So I looked to the north station, and there was 3 or 4 high school kids there. And I just looked at that side, and it looked closed too. So I said, well, I'll just keep going. And then around there, that's when I believe I shut the radio off. And, you know, I believe that happened, you know, shortly before the accident. My intention at the time was to think about, we've got a couple very big cases going on, and I was going to shut that off and, you know, think about those cases is what I intended to do. You know, quiet time.
Okay. So you remember going through Highmore, though?
Absolutely. I remember looking to the left and the right. And like I told you the first time, I remember looking at the signs, you know, off to the right about the speed zone and the distance to pier. You know, and then like I said, I think, you know, right before that, that's when I turned off the radio. And if you know, I've been thinking about it, you know, I mean, what was I doing exactly? But I think I looked down at the speedometer because I traditionally put it on cruise.
Okay.
Not always, but a lot of the times. And I know I never got going very fast because I never locked it into cruise.
Okay.
And
so you used the cruise control, but you know that on this case you hadn't got back into turning the cruise
I
on.
think I had used it prior to the accident, you know, on the other stretch possibly, but I had not used it. I had not engaged it yet.
Right. Are those roads that you take from Pier to Redfield, are those all 65 mile per hour zones?
I believe so, except for the towns, of course.
Except for,
and sometimes I don't go that way.
Uh-huh.
You know, if that matters. I mean, you can go another way. You can go to Miller.
Real quick, appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to comment. I'll throw up some good comments as you guys see while the videos are rolling. If you're just joining, just wanted to remind everybody to go to Internet Warlords over on Patreon, patreon.com/Internet Warlords. Help join my Patreon and support me. And I'd be grateful and I appreciate it because we will be exclusively moving to Patreon on March 1st. So we're just doing the test setup run for how patrons will get the links, how I'll be able to connect with people, and all of that fun stuff. And we'll be able to do more stuff like this. So again, back to the Attorney General getting away with vehicular homicide. I promise you, it's going to get pretty disgusting. If you're feeling that nauseousness right now in the pit of your stomach like I am, you might need something to eat. Maybe consider having breakfast real quick while you're trying to listen to this shit. Yeah, so again, I'm waiting on Mr. Devin Saxon from Hedgehog Watchdog to join me at some point this morning here. The second half of this video is where it really gets pretty grimy, so I kind of want to get there before Devin gets on. So I'll be taking your comments, throwing them up on the screen, and pausing where it's relevant and just hopping in real quick. So it won't be too much of me on the screen, but I will get your comments up, so keep them coming. And yeah, here we go.
Go out of Miller and then go up to Redfield.
Okay.
I didn't do that this time.
Do you have any idea what you would have been setting your cruise at when you were going?
You know, right around 65, you know,
Okay.
65, 67.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. But didn't have the cruise. Do you
I
remember?
never go more than 4 over,
Okay.
ever, anywhere in the, you know, anymore. I just lock it in.
Okay. How about your high beams? Do you usually use your high beams?
I had used the high beams, but I had not clicked them on yet when I'd leaving Highmore.
Okay.
I'd used high beams from basically to Highmore. I mean, when, you know, I shut them down when we went through Miller and of course in Redfield. I would say I used my high beams appropriately. I used them on the road, but I did not have them up yet. coming out of Highmore.
So getting to Highmore, you would have had them on, turned them off when you got into Highmore
Into town, yeah.
and then never turned them back on.
Correct.
Okay. So as you're going through Highmore, what else do you remember besides looking at the gas stations? They look closed, then what?
Just it was a dark night. I mean, that's what I remember. I vividly remember I can see those people, at the gas pump, and such, and around the station and such, but that's it.
Okay.
Nothing else sticks out, I guess.
Okay. And then what do you remember happening next?
Well, I guess when you say next, I mean, it was a hit.
Yep.
And I did not punch the brakes. My military training, you don't punch. I've always been taught you don't punch the brakes because then you could spin.
Okay.
So I tapped the brakes 3 or 4 times, trying to control the vehicle and, shake as you got to the side of the road, and brought it to control as best I could to safely get to the side of the road.
Keep watching, G. Just keep watching.
Okay.
I then, obviously, there were some expletives and, like what the hell happened, and I put it in park. And I do believe now, because quite frankly, Arnie, you made me remember when I showed you the picture, I did put the flashers on, because at first I just sat there for a minute going, what the hell happened? And I hit the flashers and I got out of the car, and I kind of just shook my head a little bit and looked around, and, and I then dialed 911. And I thought I was at Highmore, but I didn't want to tell the 911 I was at the wrong town.
Right.
So I walked towards town, talking with the 911 person, who said, to the best of my recollection, obviously you guys can listen to that, but it said something to the effect of, hello, 911, this is the Attorney General. I am about a mile west of Highmore, I believe. I've hit something in the road, and I believe it was a deer. And the only reason I believe it.
He lies right there. He lies right there. 911 call. Let's go ahead and play the 911 call. Since he's going to lie about it, we're going to have to play it. Let me go with the one with the text on it, so that way I can at least have that.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Okay, so real quick, Jason, one more time for us. Tell your story here.
I am about a mile, 911, but it said something to the effect of, hello, recollection. Obviously, you guys can listen to that, but it said,
and we are
something to the effect of, hello, 911. This is the Attorney General. I am about a mile west of Highmore, I believe. I've hit something in the road, and I believe it was a deer. And the only reason I believe it was a deer, because that's what it's season. I just think I didn't see anything, but I believe that that's what happens in, this time of year. And then I said, she goes, who is this? And I said, I need some assistance. I said that somewhere in the call. And she says, who is this? And I think I gave my name, Jason Ravnsborg, versus title. And then I said, yes, I am near Highmore, because I could see the sign. And, that
what sign could you see?
Okay. So, catching people in lies. Let's see, where's it at? Why isn't it giving me the call? Jason Ravnsborg, 911 call, Facebook. Oh, it's on Facebook, that's why. Okay, got it. Okay. So, here is the 911 call. This is how quickly, Jason, we can play the 911 call, and we will.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
911, this is Allie. How can I help you?
Allie, Allie, I'm the Attorney General, and I don't know, I hit something.
Okay. This is where you're going to love somebody like me, okay? You ain't never had a friend like me.
What is season? I was at Highmore, but I didn't want to. And, and I then dialed 911. And I thought I was at Highmore.
Highmore, it's in
but I
the
didn't
middle
want
of
to
the
tell
road.
Okay, give me one second here. Let me get your map. Do you know where you're at?
I believe I'm by Highmore. I'm right. I can see the town.
Okay.
I think that's Highmore.
East or west?
I just went through it. I am west of Highmore.
Okay.
About a mile, if that.
Okay. And this is Scott?
Say again?
What was your name?
Jason Ravnsborg.
So not only did he lie, he used his title out the gate. Then later in the second interview says he didn't use his title out the gate. Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Okay. You said he got real busy. Are you injured at all, Jason?
I am not, but my car sure as hell is.
Are you out of the roadway?
I am out of the roadway. I was able to get over, but...
Okay.
It sure hit and mashed my windshield.
Oh, no. Okay, do you think it was a deer or something? Is he vomiting?
I have no idea.
All right. So let's stop him in the next lie, right? I have no idea. Should we just rewind this to all the lies? Let's start with the first lie. Hello, can you hear me? All right, I'm going to give him because it could have been a dead spot.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
911, what's your emergency? And it's just hi? Interesting.
Yeah.
Hello.
911, this is Allie. How can I help you?
Allie, Allie, I'm the Attorney General.
Okay, glad that you stated that. Now, let's go back. Let's go back to, oh, I got to put this over here. Let's go back to this one.
What the hell happened? And I hit the flashers, and I got out of the car. And I kind of just shook my head a little bit and looked around, and, and I then dialed 911.
All right, cue the 911 call. Let's see if his words on this day match this day. Let's see, shall we? I was going to, hold up. I always need, I think people in my line of work always need one more screen, just one more screen and we could solve all the world's problems, So you guys see he's just sitting there, but I want to put this up on the screen, okay? So let's see, just one more screen would really help a guy out. Just like one right here and one right here. So 2 more screens. Okay, 3 more screens and I would be a happy man. Real quick, let's see here. His hands. Yes, I've been watching his hands too. He gave his title because he expected preferential treatment. You'd think they could get these dispatchers quieter keyboards to type on. Yeah, you would think. So, real quick, guys, we're going to play a game. Did he tell the truth?
And I thought I was at Highmore, but I didn't want to tell the 911 I was at the wrong town.
Right.
So I walked towards town, talking with the 911 person who said, to the best of my recollection, obviously you guys can listen to that, but it said something to the effect of, hello, 911, this is the Attorney General. I am about a mile west of Highmore, I believe. I've hit something in the road, and I believe it was a deer.
And I don't know, I hit something.
You hit something?
By Highmore. Highmore, and it's in the middle of the road.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Let me get you a map. Do you know where you're at?
See, we can't leave this scene without you taking note. Because remember, just take notes, folks. Because we skipped this part, we got to come back to it. It says we got to circle back, and it was in the middle of the road. Okay, so remember that key statement there.
And the only reason I believe it was a deer because that's what it sees in it. I just think it.
And remember, he says, "I don't know what it is."
I didn't see anything, but I believe that that's what happens. And
believe I'm by Highmore. I'm right. I can see the town.
Okay.
I think that's Highmore.
East or west?
I just went through it. I am west of Highmore.
Okay.
About a mile, if that.
Okay. And this is Scott.
Say again.
And what was your name?
Jason Ravnsborg.
It doesn't matter what your name is. Somebody cue The Rock, man. Yep. The dispatcher, not Jason, mentioned a deer. He did not adamantly say, I think it was a deer. I'm pretty sure I just hit a deer. In fact, he says, I don't know what I hit. Mechanical keyboards are better for your wrists and hands, but they could get them noise-canceling microphones. Yeah, and put it to like the gate of what the volume is for the key, and then closer microphones, they can gate the ambient sound. I could probably even gate this sound on my heaters here, but I'm too stupid to do it right now. We're still waiting on Mr. Devin Saxon, hedgehogwatchdog.com. He's got merch. We'll probably put it on the screen if he shows up. I like his logo. I thought it was pretty nifty. But I'll tell you what, Mr. Saxon, these t-shirts, you need to have internet warlords take over your t-shirts, man. These made in Taiwan shirts, man, they're like not my style. But I'll wear it just for you, buddy. Where were we? Anybody? Oh yeah, that's right. She don't even know what his name is. Is it Scott? Nope, it's not. It's Jason. It's the Attorney General.
You know, this time of year. And then I said, she goes, who is this? And I said, I need some assistance. I said that somewhere in the call. And she says, who is this? And I think I gave my name, Jason Ravnsborg, versus title. And then I said, yes, I am near Highmore, because I could see the sign. And, you know, that
What sign could you see?
The green town sign, I guess. I don't know what you call them officially.
Right.
Town sign. Yeah, that was. And I had walked back.
How far from where your vehicle stopped to where you walked do you think you walked? I estimate. I know you don't know exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I walked. Well, there's the one piece of my car that I saw on the shoulder right off the road.
Is that larger
piece?
Yep.
I walked past that.
Okay. Westbound past that, right?
No,
eastbound. I'm sorry.
Yep, I'm going east at this point. And then she said something to the effect, the sheriff was the only one on duty and that he would be out soon. And I said, that would be fine, or something, you know, okay. And then I hung up.
Okay, so this is the segment we call his story about 911 call. Let's finish and see if his words matches what he's saying. Some of these things, of course, yes. But we're going to start back with, who the fuck are you? Scott? Jason? Jimmy? Yeah, he doesn't give his title here, but he did out the gate. And thanks to my audience for pointing that out. If you set your gate at +5, I wouldn't be able to hear any of your background noise. Your mouse clicks come in at 0.8. Yeah. Yep. See, I know this, Mike. You know I know this, but right now I'm too stupid to do it. So it is what it is. Anyways, back to Jason.
Perfect. Okay.
You said he got real busy.
Are you injured at all, Jason?
I am not, but my car sure as hell is.
Are you out of the roadway?
I am out of the roadway. I was able to get over, but...
Okay.
Okay, what?
It sure hit and mashed my windshield.
Oh, no. Okay, do you think it was a deer or something?
Is he vomiting?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
You hear
could
that?
be. I mean,
Could be.
right in the roadway. And
It was right in the roadway.
Okay. And were you traveling westbound then?
yes, westbound, back to pier.
Okay. Alrighty, well, I will go ahead and let the sheriff know. He's the one that's on call right now. He'll be responding from home, and I'll have him come out and talk to you and take the report. Can I just get the license plate off your vehicle, Jason?
Yes. G00027.
Okay. Government plate.
Well, it's a Bronze Star plate. It's my personal car.
Okay. All right. I will get him headed that way for you, Jason.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Bye-bye.
Okay. Did he tell the truth? Ooh. So, no, there was some embellishing there. He started with his name out the gate, who he is politically. I'm the Attorney General. And and nowhere in there was she like, what? You're who? Huh? What? No, she wasn't. She took that professionally. In fact, I would say, minus the misleading of the deer. I think that was one fuck up, but she did that professionally. And again, I would tell her, like, you don't lead. You don't lead people when they're making 911 calls. It's like if I bang, well, did you use a gun? Well, maybe, I don't know. Like, again, it's just don't lead people that are calling 911. This is a problem in dispatching. Dispatchers are like, again, I'm not going to say it's not a tough job, but you ever seen that video about the chick ordering a pizza? And like that one's what if the Attorney General had been like, pepperoni pizza, please? I'm sure there's going to be a few domestic violence people are going to be like, ugh, CJ, terrible domestic violence joke inserted. Yes, I agree with you, been T-rolled. So again, we're still waiting on Mr. Devin Saxon. If anybody else would like to join, the way to do that today is to go to my Patreon. We're only going to prove that the Attorney General is getting away with vehicular homicide. It really gets sad when we're breaking the conversation down to the commas. The commas. The commas. What do commas actually mean in a sentence? Independent versus dependent clauses. Mr. Ingram says this is Mr. Ingram speaking. He said he was traveling westbound after Highmore in the call. In the interview, he said he went towards Highmore to confirm the street. Why wouldn't he see the place of impact and see what he hit? Well, we're going to keep on getting there. Again, if you got that gut feeling right here in your stomach this morning, and it's not the coffee shits, you might want to sit down for this one.
And click to my camera or my phone flashlight and started looking for the deer, which I thought in the ditch at that point. And I walked the whole length back to my car. And then I remember taking a photo, the one I gave you, of the car. And then that's when the sheriff pulled up.
So how close do you think you got to the...
Not to cut off the investigator, but I hate it when investigators don't investigate properly. Not that I'm a professional investigator or anything, or journalist, or person that likes to pick out fine details like this and share them with the whole world. Not that I'm that type of person. No, what's it, an INTJ? I wish that some of you guys were paying me $5 at least to join me. I'd be like, yeah, dude, my platform's your platform. $5 helps me out, helps me help you. You can use my platform, because some of you are all cool, but the rest of you are all like stingy, because I know you got $5. I will advertise all day long when I'm doing I told you so videos. If you are bullshit intolerant, you may want to stop watching now. Yes, thank you, Mike. I'm not bullshit intolerant. I know that I have friends that at least make $5 a month. They can buy me a cup of coffee because they watch me enough where they're like, yeah, I enjoy CJ's content, and $5 is nothing for my buddy. And if all of my friends did this, I would be able to turn this into a successful living and be able to do this professionally and get paid to do so by you, the people that I'm actually catering to. Like, hey, patrons, if you're a patron, remember, you can make this phone ring and have a conversation with me right now. I'd be like, what up, dude? But no. Again, we don't see it that way. We don't see it that way. Anybody got anything this morning, though? Again, if not, I'll just keep playing more of this because we got to get to Devin Saxon.
The town sign.
Again, he went looking for the deer. This is why I paused this. This is why if it was me in the room, if they put me in that room with this guy, I'd be like, Jason, you just said you went looking for the body. This is man, this is why they say, like, okay, one thing I will respect, okay? And this is not to be taken as I respect him as a human being, but professionally, he is going into this interview voluntarily, and he's going in without an attorney. Now, granted, he is an attorney general. This is not a deposition. These are all factors, things that we want to look into when we're investigating the investigators. Yes, I might have stayed up till 3 in the morning and only got 4 hours of sleep to do this. Yes, this is why I do not broadcast regularly in the mornings, my own broadcast, because I've got other things I'm preparing for with a show that I do weekly already. Doing my own is crazy, but doing a special broadcast for my friends, doing a special broadcast for people that support me, is not out of the realm of my possibilities. Mr. Ingram says, for just $5 a month, you can help support an internet warlord. Like, yeah, dude, absolutely. If I wasn't going to have to fight with their fair usage today, I would totally start playing that right now. Absolutely. But what sucks is that some of you guys I know are not going to be able to afford $5 a month, and you'd still like to participate in the show, right? Well, I did help create one of the most censored all-time epic broadcast talk formats in this decade with Adam versus the Man, and I've produced one of the best shows that is hidden from the public for all obvious reasons. I'm not going to take that from me. So, I mean, for like producer club members, like if they were waking up and they're like, come on, CJ, let me come on and talk a broadcast with you. I'd be like, cool. Cause I mean, you're helping out with that show too. So again, I'm not saying like everyone has to be my Patreon member to talk to me like as a human being. Be really fucked up, but it is a great way for me to keep track of whose opinions I'm going to invest in and whose time I'm going to invest in because they invest in me. So, but again, there's a lot going on in the Producers Club this morning. I'll tell you that much. Should we get back to this? I'm waiting on Mr. Devin Saxon. I think so.
Past that, I don't know, 5 steps maybe past that big chunk.
Okay. So just you were real close to that chunk.
Right.
Okay.
Because I thought obviously the animal would be close to that with a collision point somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And look.
Just for the record, he was very close to the collision point. In fact, the investigators are going to say some very scary, creepy shit here very soon.
Around there and then walk back.
Mm-hmm. But so you walked past the piece of...
I walked past the piece of vehicle. East
okay.
towards Highmore. Yes.
Okay. When you were walking past it, did you had your phone flashlight out? You said, or was that after?
That was after the phone call concluded.
Okay. And so when you were walking, were you on 911 at the time when you were walking?
Yes, I was walking and talking at the same time.
Okay. Right.
Walking and talking towards the sign. I would say I had an excited utterance. Yes, it is Highmore. I am near Highmore, or some words to that effect. You know, I thought I was at Highmore, but again, I didn't want to say I was at Harold, and then, which is the next town,
right,
and send the off.
All right, and that's not to say that if I don't get a private message, I won't be like, hey, I got to stop real quick. So yeah, I agree with you. The longer that they don't charge him with vehicular homicide with the appropriate charge, the worse it's going to get for the government. Like, and specifically Kristi Noem and all of those that are going to support her on this cover-up. Because, I mean, it is red flag after red flag. It's one thing to be like, hey, guys, I'm pretty sure all indications show that that man had to have gone into the vehicle with that kind of damage. And then they lie about it, and then he admits it. Like, when you have a basic confession, like within 5 minutes of this video being put out, right? There's people in the comments timestamping confession. Timestamping it.
Officer to the wrong location.
Right, yep. Okay, so you walk past, you're on the phone, and then when you start coming back, is that when you turn the phone light on?
Yeah, within, you know, I hung up, or she hung up, I don't remember who hung up, and then I turned the light on soon thereafter.
Okay.
I don't know, you know, how soon.
Right. Okay. And then you walked back towards your vehicle?
I walked towards the vehicle, and like I said, I took a picture, and that's when the sheriff pulled up. The sheriff pulls up, and he says, what happened? And I said, well, I think I hit a deer. And so the sheriff looked at, so I'm at the front corner taking that picture, and he walks up beside me, and he's looking at the car also. Okay. And he says something to the effect, well, at least it didn't hit the side window, you know, my passenger side window.
Right.
I mean, he saw what other damage was there. Okay. And then he kind of looked the car over, I would say, and then he looked at, and I told him that, you know, that I tried to brake and got it over as best I could, and then he looked at the car, and he looked back at the wreckage, I would say, and such, and then he said, well, grab your license. No, not your license. Grab your registration and your insurance and meet me back at the car. So I then walked back to the car. And when I get in the car, well, no, I had to get in my car to get those two items.
And where were those items at?
My registration's always above my visor. It has a mirror, so you drop down the mirror, so you always have the registration there. And then the insurance was in the glove compartment, which at this point had been ajar.
Okay.
It had opened up based on the collision. I guess the one thing I remember that I told you at the beginning, I remembered something. My airbags did not deploy. It looked like from photos, and I think that's my car that Kelloland put out there, but you know, we couldn't see it exactly, but it looked like the airbags had deployed then. So they did not deploy from the crash, I guess, you know.
Right.
And so I guess I haven't seen my car since, so I don't know.
Right.
I mean, just telling you.
Okay.
Go back to the car.
Gee, you beat me to it. You literally beat me to it. You beat me to it. He is incriminating the law enforcement officer. This is a great catch here. If you caught this, bravo to you, sir. Bravo to you. If you caught that he is going to try to incriminate the sheriff's deputy that responded. Well, if he didn't see it, I didn't see it. Makes sense. Like, it's plausible deniability. Well, the sheriff didn't see it. The tow truck driver didn't see it. How was I supposed to see it? Yeah, great catch, G. Great catch.
He says, he writes down, he takes those 2 items and he writes me out the red ticket, which I gave you a picture of.
Sure did.
And then he said, well, where do you live? Or where were you at? He asked me where I was at. I said, well, I'm in Redfield. I went to a political event and a Republican event over there. And he goes, well, you're not running this year, are you, already? And I says, no, but you're Attorney General. You're always running. You're always, out seeing the people. And I think that's what you got to do. Your extra pen, please. Sure. I went dead. Oh, sorry. And, get out and find out what their concerns are and talk with them. And that's what you should do as a elected person. And he said something to the effect,
this jackass's predecessor did not believe you should be out there seeing the people. In fact, he would run from you, kind of like Kristi Noem. She'll run from you. She does not believe she should be out there seeing the people. She believes she should be protected, worshipped, praised, and privileged. To be honest, she is the queen of meth. But I agree with what the definition of an elected person should be. But this administration and the South Dakota government, currently ran by the Republican Party of South Dakota, is anything but the description that he is describing here of an elected person.
That, he loved his job, but he doesn't like the politics of it. And I didn't really say much to that, I guess. And then he said something to the effect that, he loved his job, but he doesn't like the politics of it. And I didn't really say much to that, I guess. And then he said, well, where do you live? Well, I started describing exactly where I lived. I think he meant, from what he said later, that he just wanted to know what town I lived in. But I was telling him exactly where I lived in town. And I'm a little shook up. And he goes to the effect of, well, I can either take you there, or you can drive, but it'll be an hour for a tow truck. We talked about a tow truck. And I said, so I was confused. I says, well, we just talked about a tow truck, but you said I can drive. I do think the car is drivable. I mean, the motor runs and everything, but is it safe to drive? I was just, this was cloudy of my why is, and he says, no, I'll take you to my house and I'll give you my car and you can drive, or I can take you back.
That is like the greatest sheriff's deputy ever. Like, hey man, you just wrecked your personal vehicle coming from a bar. I'm not going to breathalyze you or test you I'm not going to notice the beacon that the investigators say was shining. The quote was a beacon. Like, literally a fucking beacon. Like, that's why they would say, like, if you're walking along the highway, carry the most highest illumined flashlight you can get and always face it forward. Walk in the lane directed towards traffic so your light can be seen as a beacon. Like, I have a Class A license. Rules of the road are kind of my territory. So again, at the end of the day, I kind of go, if it was me, Dave, were you going to give me your personal vehicle? Would you miss the beacon? So he's going to try to incriminate the responding deputy. He needs somebody to incriminate. He needs a scapegoat. I don't know so much about this. The cop and the tow truck driver saw it. They were just afraid the attorney general would run them down if they snitched him out. Again, this is why we need a trial, investigations, public, so questions can be answered. Mike says the only thing the sheriff and tow truck driver saw were the $100 bills that Jason was handing out. Again, need an investigation. His recollection is, quote, hazy now, but he could describe how many people were at the gas station. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, somebody's offering me their car, or he's going to take his time to take me home. I quite frankly threw it back on him, and I said, whatever works for you, Sheriff, you know, or words to that effect. And he said, well,
this is why you need to be on Patreon. My mic's always hot there. Mike's not hot on StreamYard. This is why, again, coolest sheriff ever, right? Let's back this up so I can get it back there. 1729.
To that effect. And he said, well, somebody's offering me their car, or he's going to take his time to take me home. I quite frankly threw it back on him, and I said, whatever works for you, Sheriff, you know, or words to that effect.
Yeah, words to that effect. Coming from the guy who embellished the 911 call, words to that effect do not mean shit coming out of the mouth of that guy right now. Not in my world.
And he said, well, we'll take you to the house then, and we'll get you the car. We then...
But you didn't think that the car wasn't drivable?
I thought the car, motor-wise, could drive, but I didn't know how safe it was with the windshield action.
Right. Okay.
I didn't test it out, obviously. I got it to the side the best I could. But I guess I was deferring to the sheriff at that point.
Okay.
And he then takes me to his house.
Real quick before we get to that. So the sheriff, he looked at the damage to the vehicle. Did the sheriff, while you were present, did he look at all it for anything that you would have hit?
Well, I know he looked at the car itself, and I know he looked at the wreckage, and I believe he was looking in the ditch.
Okay.
As I was...
There it is.
You know, I didn't watch him exactly go back to his car, but I was, finding the registration, the insurance, looking around, and I looked back at him, and I thought I'd seen him once, glance in the ditch and such.
Right, where the cars were, though?
The cars were.
He didn't. Well, did you see him walk down the highway at all, like looking at
neither one of us ever went east of the crash, where the car stopped.
Okay.
We never went east of it. I mean, I took the picture, and that's when I stopped and then kind of deferred to him.
The only time you had walked east was to find out if you were by Highmore.
Oh, sorry, I said it backwards now.
Yep.
I didn't walk west of the car further.
Okay.
I didn't walk farther west, and I'd come to the front of the car and taken that picture. I did not walk west of the car. I only walked east prior to the sheriff arriving, as I earlier described. And then when I obviously walked back to the sheriff's car, I did look again in the ditch as I walked back to his car with my, I looked out there. I don't think I used my phone. I was just looking out when I walked back to the car, and
so in relation to your car, so your car was facing west. The sheriff pulled up. Did he pull up behind you?
Yes, he pulled up behind me.
Okay.
Yes.
Did he come from the east, or did he come and then turn around, or how did that work?
Again, this is the part where he is incriminating the sheriff, bruh. He's incriminating him. He's using that straight up, and I hope you all caught that.
You know what I mean?
I don't know
how he ended up behind.
I mean, I can only speculate.
Okay.
He lives,
that's fine.
He lives a quarter mile from the crash site, west of it. But I didn't. He parked behind me, so I don't know where he came from. I guess he just appeared, and I showed him the vehicle. Showed him the front and everything.
Do you remember? Did the sheriff have, when he was looking around? Did he have a flashlight or anything? Do you remember at all? Even
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. And any questions I ask, if you don't remember, just say you don't remember. That's best.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't want to speculate. I want to give you the facts.
When you were looking around or walking to find out where you were at or anything, did you move any of the debris?
No.
Okay. Didn't touch any debris?
Didn't.
Okay. Did you happen to see if the sheriff, when he was out there, moved any debris?
I did not.
You didn't see him?
What he did.
Okay.
And then obviously I thought of later, obviously the tow truck came and got my car, but that was after I left the scene. So somebody moved the car and the tow truck and the sheriff, because as I started to say, I was at the house with him. He backs his car out. I take it, I leave, and he pulled me over again. And he said, and I said, "Is there a problem, Sheriff? What else can I do for you?" And he says, "You didn't give me the key to the car." So I give him all my keys, and then he gave them back and said, "No, just give me the drive key." And so it came out of his lane, and I went west at that point, and I gave him the key back.
Okay.
So he had to obviously, I assume, went back to the crash site when the tow truck driver came, because he's the one I gave the key to.
Right. Okay. And then you headed back to Pier.
I headed back to Pier. I called, as I said before, I called my father, Tim and Dave, and the sheriff. And I just coordinating. I guess I regularly tell Tim and Dave where I'm at.
Okay.
As Attorney General, if I'm traveling, especially by myself, where I'm at. Those two know where I'm at.
Right.
And so I told them that I believe I hit a deer and had an accident, and I asked him if he would help me the next day take that car back to the sheriff, and he said yes. And then I called the sheriff and said I had driven to Pier and I didn't see a tow truck pass me anywhere. Had it come yet? No. And when can I bring your car back? And he said, anytime. Bring it back in the morning, whatever works for you.
Okay.
And that's what we did.
Okay, so the call to the sheriff was just to set up
the return of his vehicle. I mean, I'm borrowing somebody else's property, and I think I should get it back to him.
Did the sheriff say anything about the accident or anything? You're asking no questions?
Nope. He said that the tow truck driver hadn't been there yet, and bring it back whenever worked for me in the morning.
Huge fail on law enforcement right there.
All right. So then you go back the next morning, correct?
Okay, so Tim meets me at my house approximately 8 o'clock.
All right. So this is the next part. This is the day after. This is when they come back to the scene.
And I said...
So we are officially done, as of right there, with his recollection, his memory of that day, of the incident. Okay? That's it. That's all we're going to get. The rest is him going to be changing any story he needs to. And here we go.
Follow me, and we did see 3 deer the next day going east back to Highmore. We saw 3 in the daylight, and we slowed down because of those. And then I said I wanted to go to Highmore and fill it up with gas, because I thought that was only the right thing to do again, that somebody loaned me their vehicle to give it back to them full. And so we filled it up, and as we drove by, some of the wreckage was still there on the road.
Did it look like it was in the same place that it was?
I don't know about that. Yeah, if it moved or not.
Right.
I mean, it's, obviously 10, 12 hours have passed.
Right. And I get from darkness to daylight. I get it.
Right. Yep. I don't know if it moved or not, but it was still there, and I thought it could be a problem for another traveler. And I had thought along the way, I didn't look on the south side of the ditch. And so I told Tim, well, let's park on the north side, look there, and then let's look on the south side, because maybe the deer glanced off and went to the other side of the road. I did not check that the night before on the south side. Well, then we pull up to the site area, and again, I never saw, my car is gone at that point, so I don't know where my car is in relation to the body when I found it. So I went west, and Tim went east, and then I found the body. And I just came to Tim and said, Tim, you got to come here. I found a body. So Tim came up and looked at it, and then I said, well, now it's daylight. I can see the sheriff's house. And I said, we got to go get the sheriff immediately. And he agreed, and we did leave the site without calling 911, but my thought process is this is the quickest way I can get the sheriff, is to go to his house. He's right there. And so he walks out and says, good morning. And I said, I don't know. I said, Sheriff, I found a body. And his response was, you're shitting me. So, and I obviously thought that was genuine, that he was surprised that that was the case. Mm-hmm. And I said, you need to come with us. Here's your keys back. I handed him his keys to his car, and we just left it where I drove into the property at. And I got in with Tim, and the sheriff followed us back to the site. The sheriff says, to the effect of, first we got out, and then we showed him where it was at. And then he said, well, how are you doing? Well, I says, well, I'm pretty shook up right now. And he says, well, Tim, you take care of him and take him back, and I'll call DCI. And that's where we left it.
Okay. So when you said that the sheriff seemed genuine when he said you're shitting me.
Well, that was his reaction. Mm-hmm. You're shitting me.
Okay.
Like, he was genuinely surprised that there was a body out there.
Okay.
I mean, not to take away from him in any fashion. That was just his response.
Okay. More of the reason I'm asking that, you're clarifying that is, are you now questioning, or were you questioning on whether the sheriff was genuine about that?
No.
Okay.
I want to make sure that's clear. I mean, if I said that wrong.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
He was surprised. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was as surprised as I was minutes previously in finding the body.
Right.
Just kind of a shock. You're shitting me.
Right.
And I mean, I thought I took that reaction as genuine, like, well, clearly he didn't know there was a body either, and that's, was all settling in to me. That,
So when you spoke to the sheriff at his house, do you remember what was he wearing? Was he dressed like he was ready to go on duty? Do you remember? Or, I mean, at 8:30 in the morning, you might catch him in pajamas.
So this is 9:30 in the morning.
Okay.
9:30. Okay. Ish. Yep. Because we left Pier around 8, and then, like I said, we got gas. We went to the crash site, and then we went to the sheriff. And I guess I don't remember if he's wearing a uniform or not, but I would say he's dressed like you folks. I mean, he dressed like he was gonna, go out, be out for the day appropriately. He was not in pajamas, per se, or some kind of night clothing. Yeah. He was in.
Yeah, that's another good catch. And I don't know if you noticed that. He keeps saying we. We left Pier. Who went back to Pier with him? Was he alone? I mean, again, they're saying this is a case closed, and I'm sitting here going like, wait a minute, hold up, players. There's a ton of questions still. Yeah.
Standard.
Good catch.
I mean,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, the reason 8:30, 9:30, you might catch me in,
on Sunday morning.
You might catch me in, not ready to go.
Right. Or I guess I don't remember him looking like he was going to go to church, but I don't look like he's going to go to pajamas either. I mean, it's just standard clothes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you showed the sheriff. He said he'd take over from there, and you and Tim. He released you and Tim from the scene.
He released me and Tim from the scene, and said he would contact DCI.
Okay.
Yeah, who's Tim?
Right, and that's what I remember, except for at some point, the Highway Patrol asked if I would do a blood draw, and I said absolutely, and I did that up at the jail. That's when I asked you where we were meeting exactly, at the top of the hill.
Yeah, that test was done 15 hours later, so it's irrelevant.
I met up there for that, and I believe that officer, Highway Patrol, was Schneider. Was his name.
Yep.
And he coordinated that with Tim. Because I called my father when I got home, or I got back to the office. And while I was doing that, that's when Tim talked with Highway Patrol to line that up.
So you said when you got back to the office, you went to the office, not home?
Yes, went to the office, yeah.
Okay. What'd you do at the office?
Wait.
Just waited?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you paid for it, and he didn't resign.
Well, he had said to Tim to look after me for a little while, so not to go home and leave me alone, I guess, was Tim's thing. He said, what? Because I think it was Tim's idea. Let's just go to the office.
Okay, so Tim stayed at the office then, too?
Yeah, he was with me.
Okay, all right.
And I know we went and we came here and did the blood draw. And we went back to the office for a little while.
Which, again, is irrelevant, again, done 15 hours after.
I asked if I was okay and stuff to go home and such, and because now I don't have a car at all. So I know he had to take me home at some point.
Right, okay. All right. So I just want to go back a little bit to when the accident happened. What is the last thing you remember upon impact when you hit something? What is the very last thing you remember about hitting, or, you know, at impact?
I'm glad he asked this question, because he can remember every detail possibly, down to who was at a gas station, what somebody was wearing, like completely detailed in certain things. And now let's see what he says.
I think that I had just shut the radio off and looked down at the speedometer.
Okay.
I mean, I shut the radio off, you know, just soon from Highmore in, you know, Highmore to the site somewhere. And then I think I looked down at the speedometer I just seen the speed sign, and I did not engage the cruise.
Okay.
And I shook to get to the...
Do you remember how you were feeling when you were driving home from Redfield that night? I mean, were you feeling tired, fatigued at all?
I do not feel fatigued. I felt normal. Normal driving. I did not feel fatigued.
Okay. Do you remember, were you using your phone at all for anything besides to make a couple phone calls?
Nope. The only phone calls I made were to my father, which ended prior to Miller.
Yep. Okay.
I have two phones, as you know. One was on the passenger seat, and the other one was on my console, and I did not, you know, use them, you know, then.
Okay.
You know, I do not have the phone in my hands when the crash happened. I had, you know, our hands on the wheel and looking at the speedometer.
Okay.
So, he claims his hands were on the wheel, looking at the speedometer. What did you catch in this one? They ask him a specific question. Remember, cops don't ask you questions unless they believe they already have the answer. Good morning, Mr. Jackson. Well, I should say morning. I don't want to assume the adjective of your day. I hope you caught that. It's another catch.
So
as best I can relate that.
So your phones, to unlock them, do you use like mine? I can use a code or my thumb. I think my kids can actually use a facial recognition thing. They hold it in front of their face.
Right.
How are yours set up?
One doesn't have anything, and
which one doesn't have anything?
The personal phone, the Droid.
Okay. No security on that?
No security on that one.
Okay. And how about your work phone?
You have to punch a code in. That's the one.
So you can't just use a thumbprint or anything like that. You actually got to enter in a code. How many numbers is your code? 4 numbers? Okay. But you don't remember using your phone for anything other than phone calls? Or to your dad that night on the way home?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
How's your vision?
Good.
Do you have night vision problems, anything like that?
No, I'm in the Army, so I had a vision test a year ago.
Sure.
And I came out fine. I have no glasses or anything.
And I know some people have trouble seeing stars and stuff at night, and I was just curious if you experienced any of that stuff.
No.
Oh, no, that's fine. So have you had any other contact with the sheriff at all?
No, I have not
Okay.
talked.
Yes, so he, as I've stated, he is military. He is good vision. He can see. Okay. Mr. Saxon hopefully will be joining me this morning. I'm trying to get him to wake up. We were up pretty late dissecting all of this garbage that's been released by the Queen of Meth. So if you're just waking up and you're like, CJ, what the fuck are you ranting about this morning? As you see at the bottom, the Attorney General, Jason Ravnsborg, is getting away with vehicular homicide. That's the morning. So if it's a great morning for some, so be it. I guess you're having a better morning than this guy.
I have not had any contact at all with the sheriff.
Uh-huh.
I think Tim might have reached out because we were trying to figure out who the family was.
Oh, okay.
You know, to offer condolences, sympathy.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I think Tim might have, do you know these people? Do they have a relative? Who is the right person?
Were you guys ever able to get anywhere with that?
No. I no, not at all.
Okay.
We found a different way to find out than a funeral home. They put the obituary and put the funeral home of the, where that had happened, and then we learned that the father passed away about 6 weeks prior. We were looking to reach out to the mother, but we saw that and did not reach out then because obviously she just lost her husband, and then 6 weeks later loses a son. So we just didn't think that was the right time.
Right.
Because the father was still on the funeral home registry. Also.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, he wanted to reach out to the victim's family. First thing, that was like his first thought was, I better go apologize. And he decided not to because the father of the man just died. Like, man, what a story.
So on your phone then, you have email on your work phone, I assume?
Correct.
Okay. How do you open up your email? Is it just like I have a mail icon basically?
Right.
I can hit
on
that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that for a South Dakota State email or?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have other emails besides your work email?
Yes.
Okay. But your work, you just click something and boom, you're in, right? What other kind of emails do you have?
Campaign email.
Okay.
And personal email, and then military email.
Okay, so the campaign email, what would that, is that like a Gmail, a Yahoo mail?
Yahoo mail.
Okay, that's Yahoo. And how about your personal?
It's also Yahoo, different one.
Okay. Military, what's that? Is that like a?
It's a mil.
.us
Yeah.
or whatever?
It's your name,
okay.
.mil at mail.mil or something. Yeah.
Okay. And you had both phones with you when you went to the dinner, and then you brought them, you had them both when you came home, right?
Correct.
Okay.
What's the address for your campaign?
Right now they redact the address for his home, so that way he's not being, having people come to his house to, murder him. We got to make sure we note the audio redactions, which is funny because they'll audio redact this, but they full out black the whole screen for the 73-second meltdown. So they'll show you his demeanor while he's giving his address, but when he has a full-on meltdown, what people call the confession.
Do you have any Google Mail accounts? Any Gmails?
You'll see.
Yes. So it's more campaign related again,
Okay,
but
so
it's the same
So yeah, like I said, notice that they'll show you this, and that's what we're believing, at least on Internet Warlords, is that that 73 seconds is the confession, and they're holding it against him.
Okay. And that's a campaign email?
Yes.
Okay.
Predominantly, yeah.
Okay. I assume they're all kind of used
a little bit. I mean, try not to, but yeah. I mean, some people, and you meet them and you move them over to a different email,
right?
Sometimes.
Okay. So now, any of these emails, do you have to get into those? How do you get into those on your phone?
Well, first off, I don't get into the Gmail one on my phone at all.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
I don't like Gmail. It's not as easy, user-friendly for me. And then the other one, you have to go on to the internet, I guess.
Okay, so you actually have to go in and click on Safari or whatever, go into Yahoo,
right,
and then sign in.
Right.
Okay.
And then my military email, quite frankly, I just ever use that on my laptop that they've given me.
Okay.
Because it's complicated. It's got long passwords and stuff you gotta enter in every time to
get the VPN out.
Yeah.
With your laptop.
Yeah.
So when you were driving, you don't remember going into any of these email accounts while you were driving home that night?
No.
Okay. Are there any websites that you do frequently use, that you frequent on your phone?
Well, when I'm around my house or around, a building, maybe you check out the news and such, I mean, I try to use my laptop and or personal computers, laptops, desktops, stuff like that, predominantly. I use them once in a while.
Do you have any certain sites you check the news on? Particularly any favorites or common ones?
Well, now with political season, I actually look at Fox, CNN, and MSNBC. I look at the three big networks, I guess I call it. That would be what I traditionally look at, I guess.
Okay. How about any of the local newspapers? Do you do those online then?
I haven't since this until this happened.
Okay, I bet not.
I was not a normal 10 o'clock at news or watcher of the frequent news. I guess we get the Argus Leader paper and the Rapid City Journal paper at the office, and I tend to look at those, but I will look at those at the office periodically.
Okay. So what would you think, though, if I told you that when they did the phone extraction?
Okay. I have to prep everybody because this is it. This is when the shit starts to hit the fan, okay? And I told you it was going to take a while to get here, so for those of you that made it 2 hours, congratulations. You're about to see why the banner at the bottom says what it says. So this is viewer discretion is advised. Again, I'll be putting your comments on the screen, so go ahead and get those in. Still waiting on Devin. I might have to burn this shirt by the end of this broadcast. I don't like to wear other people's merch and then get stood up like a freaking a date. This is just not okay. But what if I told you that we're about to hear the confession? Sort of.
So what would you think, though, if I told you that when they did the phone extraction, they found some internet activity on your phone around that time?
Well, I guess I don't not use my phone, but I did not use it at the time of the crash. No.
Okay. But were you using it up to the time of the crash?
Not that I...
Okay, hold up, playa. Great catch again. We're going to go through this one more time. We're going to go through this one more time. Here we go. It would be, let's go.
I don't not use my phone, but I did not use it at the time of the crash. No.
Okay. But were you using it up to the time of the crash?
Can do it.
Right. I didn't do anything to him. No.
Did I? I did mess the audio up on that.
And you had an easier time believing this?
Both, you know.
Oh, dude, I fast forwarded way too
my hand went
fast.
exactly, but I
Yeah,
did
that's
not.
impossible to know.
Dang it.
I don't not use my phone, but I did not use it at the time of the crash. No.
Okay, there it was.
Were you using it up to the time of the crash?
That's it. Jeopardy me, please. I don't recall.
Are you aware what phones will actually tell us, Jason?
Yeah, somewhat, you know.
Okay. So they're pretty straightforward.
Right, okay.
And there isn't any manipulation that you can do with.
Right. I didn't do anything to him.
So, right.
No.
Right, and we didn't either.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And it's like...
The best I can recall is that the one phone was on my, on the seat, and I never touched that one. That's the Droid. That's the one they said they couldn't get the information off of and would have to mail to New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And it slammed into the wheel well, is what I remember. The other one, I remember, you know, I would say prior to or right at Highmore, I set it down on, you know, but, you know, through the journey, it fell down a few times, you know, but onto the gear shift, but I was not using it at the time. I know that.
Okay. So you set it down about when you got to Highmore?
Yeah, around Highmore, the console, there's a little console. I set it on top, and I know I had both plugged in, you know, both were charging. Yeah, but it would slip down and I'd pick it up and, you know.
So what were you doing with it before you got to Highmore? If you set it down at Highmore,
I look at the time and such. I know I do that. I would open it up and I'd see the time better. But you know, I glance at it, you know. Okay, nothing sticks out, I guess.
When you say glance at your phone, what do you mean by that?
Glance and see what time it was.
Okay.
You know, just you know, a periodic check. I sometimes listen to podcasts, but I was not.
Okay.
That night. That's another app I use.
Yep.
Sometimes, but I will play it and it sits down.
Right. Are you able to Bluetooth your phone in so that if you like listen to a podcast or receive a phone call, is it hands free for you?
Yes.
Okay.
And or you can just hear it from the phone.
Okay.
The Suburban, which I have for work, I can Bluetooth it better than my car.
Okay.
Lay it on this. I'd lay it right the same place there. I guess I always lay it the same place.
Okay. So you lay it there and just let the speaker.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
All right. Let's go ahead and review something here real quick. I want you to notice.
Your phone, is it? Okay.
My car.
Okay.
On this. I'd lay it right the same place.
All right. Great catch. If you're a body language expert, not saying that I am, but if you are in this position, when he's saying, I take my phone and I lay it right here, that takes your eyes away from where? Comment section? Hello, are you awake this morning? Look at his body position and look at where he's looking. It's almost like when you ask a person to hold a phone to your face. Kids these days go like this. Older generations will go like this. Where do you put your cell phone? How do you interact with it while you're driving? And your response is to show your body language and emotion that takes your eyes off the road. That's where your phone's located. And if I'm an investigator looking at this guy, I'm going, huh. You wouldn't be looking at the road if you were looking at your phone. Now were you? Huh. Interesting.
place there. I guess I always lay at the same place.
Okay. So you laid there and just let the speaker.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So were you using your phone, besides for the phone call to your dad, which we know, I mean, that's
right.
Were you using your phone at all for any other activities on that drive home?
Remember, they already know the answer.
I didn't have any texts that I sent, and typically if I would text, I would do voice to text, which I know I didn't do that. And the work email, but I didn't do any of that. I guess that's what I remember.
Okay. You don't remember signing into a Gmail account, though?
No. Oh. Guess it's just always hard to get to where you need to go.
That's a hard one to get to.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you do have 2 Yahoo accounts. Do you remember signing into either of those? Because when you go in and you want to go on your Yahoo account, do you have to actually manually enter in your username and password, or are they do they autofill?
They autofill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd have to go in and then click sign in. They would be there, and then probably another sign in thing or whatever. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Do you remember being on either of those?
I guess it's possible that I could have checked those. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you ever go on the Dakota Free Press?
Yes.
What is that?
That's a blog.
Okay.
That's a blog here. Politics. Yes.
Oh,
It's a political hit piece site where politicians can pay these people to write hit pieces and then post it out to the public without any liability to their campaigns or themselves in general. So if they want to run a hit piece, they run it through these 2 websites that he's about to shout out.
Political blog?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's another one then, Dakota War College.
Okay.
Also
Again,
a blog.
All right.
Both political hit piece sites for politicians to pay for political hit pieces without any liability to the words that are being published.
Headlines are more than anything, yes.
How about Real Clear Politics?
Okay, yes.
Okay, what's that one?
Politics, and it has a whole bunch of stories and stuff of the day, but that's more national politics, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's more of a national site, not where I assume Dakota Free Press is a South Dakota political blog?
Yes.
Hit piece blog. Get it right.
How about what's Just the News?
Just the News. No, I don't recognize that one.
Okay. All right. Have you ever read the article Riding the Dragon? It's a documentary about Joe Biden.
It's not familiar to me,
Okay.
I guess.
All right.
What if I told you that's literally what he was paying attention to when he killed this man?
Well, here, I'll kind of show you where I'm getting this stuff from.
Yes, absolutely.
So here's kind of the information that was put together on your phone and here's our times. So outgoing call and 24. So that's what time you made the 911 call. So, and that's all fine and dandy, But leading up to that, at 10:20, you unlock your phone, signed into your Yahoo Mail account. Also, then signed out. At 10:20:49, you were on the Dakota Free Press site. These are all on your work phone. A minute later, you were on the Real Clear Politics website.
Okay.
And then about a minute later, this article was pulled up through Just the News, which could have been something that you were on this and it had a link to click to get you to this one regarding this. It's an article about Joe Biden and something with China. So you were on that up to about, we're going to estimate probably a minute before the accident.
Okay.
You were on that. Do you remember any of these?
Well, I remember looking at it, but that's when I set my phone down prior to. Yeah.
Okay. Because then, like I said, we're looking at a minute to 2 minutes before you call 911.
Right.
So, the concern being is that we know that from the time of impact, there was a time period that went by before you called 911. You had to realize what was going on, come to a stop, get your bearings back about you, get out, look at the damage a little bit, figure out what the hell is going on. You're trying to figure out where you are, call 911. So it's reasonable to say that there was a minute to 2 minutes that passed from impact to when you were actually on the phone with 911, right? That would be reasonable, correct?
I guess, yeah.
So when we look at that, our concern is everything that we're seeing here is appearing that you were on your phone reading political stuff at the time.
But I just wasn't. I set it down. I know I did.
Did you maybe set it down after the accident?
No, because I grabbed it and went out.
And it was sitting in like the center console area.
Center console area, absolutely.
Okay. So when the impact happened, that phone was sitting in the center console.
Absolutely.
Okay. See where this obviously.
Well, yeah,
it's an issue.
Part of this, Jason, is we have a job, right?
Absolutely.
People make mistakes.
Right.
And we're thinking you made
Look at his face.
I don't remember being on my phone. I set it down, and I shut the radio off, and I looked at the speedometer, the best I remember.
Yeah.
But I don't. That's what I was, worrying. How fast does that transmit? That you do that. That you set it down. And I never shut the browser, I guess, a lot.
Yeah. But it shows you unlocked it and such. So, it's a tough position. We know. We know. But it's like, it sure appears to be a problem here. And we want to get ahead of it.
Right.
Just like you do.
Right.
That's going to be a problem statement for any jury. That's going to be a problem statement for any jury. Abso-freaking-lutely. So, I don't see Mr. Devin Saxon here. Hello? I see he was awake 49 minutes ago. Oh, that's some bullshit, dude. That's some bullshit. You're breaking my heart, man. So, yeah, we got a problem here. We know you're going to try to get out ahead of it. Yep.
It's a tough position. We know. We know. But it's like, it sure appears to be a problem here. And we want to get ahead of it.
Right.
Just like you do.
Right.
I get it. I know what kind of position you're in. It's tough. But these don't disappear, too.
Right, I understand.
I mean,
I look at stuff.
You're smart enough to know
I
that
look at
technology is
but I
instant.
I remember I sat it down because I was getting rid of distractions because I wanted to think about these cases. But, I shut it down there.
And it could have been just at that moment. But you know the speed of technology today. You're a smart man.
Right.
And it's like the speed of technology is amazing. And
I was not looking at it when it happened. I won't say that I was. No. I set it down and I went to hit I shut the radio off and I looked at the speedometer.
So is it maybe when all that was going on that the impact happened?
Well, that's the best message that I can remember. Boom.
Yeah, and it could be instantaneous.
Right.
And we get that.
Right.
We get that. It could be instantaneous and like you said the last time.
Right.
Wham, there it is.
And
as you're putting it down, it could be wham, there it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I set it down. I remember sitting it down. I pretty confident I shut the radio off, and then wham, looked at the speedometer. I mean, this was the best I remember. And then wham. I was not looking at my phone. I know it's the law, and I was not looking at it at the time it happened. No.
You've been kind of called out on that before too, haven't you?
I don't know what you mean by that.
So somebody, when you were texting or tweeting when you were going through the Black Hills,
well,
that was a similar type situation where,
well, yeah, I mean,
and you got kind of called out on it. That's what I mean.
Right.
And we heard about all that. Joe and I have done, we want to cover every base, and we have.
Right.
And I can assure you, we have gone as far.
Well, obviously, I'm political. I get called out on lots of stuff that doesn't.
So cringe, Matt. I agree with you. Very cringe. All right, we should be getting close to the redaction, and I think that's because in conversation he can hear what we hear. They're getting ready to say some things that he's not going to like to hear.
Doesn't look necessarily how it looks, right?
And it may or may not be appropriate.
Right.
As far.
Well, obviously, I'm political. I get called out on lots of stuff that doesn't look necessarily how it looks, right?
And it may or may not be appropriate.
Right.
Granted.
Right.
And
right.
So I can see where, in a situation like this, all of a sudden this is wham. Now it's in your face. Now what do I do? And it's like, I don't know what just happened to me. I just know that something's going on really serious here, and I got to figure it out. And I kind of think that's what you're. I've done this for 40 years. I started in 1981. I'm on my 39th year.
Right.
So in that time, I've had situations like this before, where all of a sudden you have to make a decision, and it's fast, and it's going to last forever. And I can see where it's like, oh, I should not have done this. I should not have been doing this, and now I'm kind of in a jam. What do I do?
I still believe I was not on my phone when the moment happened.
But you agree that it could have been at that moment that you were putting it down.
I still believe I put the phone down and reached to shut the radio off. Now, was that 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 20 seconds? I don't know. But, wham, it's a close relation, I guess.
Yeah, it's really close.
Right. But I was not doing it at the time of the impact. I set the phone down. I know I did.
Do you remember reading that article at all?
No.
It's basically about Joe Biden. I looked at it as well.
Okay.
Because when we get these,
right,
Jason, we can go look at what you're looking at.
Right, yeah.
And it's about,
about some conspiracy with Joe Biden in China. I didn't read.
I guess I would say I glance at headlines a lot.
Sure.
I don't read articles when I'm driving.
Right.
And it probably was an intriguing headline. I mean, I would guess.
Right. Because when we enter in the address that was on your phone, it actually takes you to the article. It's not just like a headline where you scroll down and see other headlines or whatever. You were on that article.
Okay, so like you go from Real Clear Politics to the article, and you can click on, that's what Real Clear Politics is. You click on article.
Sure.
And then they take you to the article.
So, right. Kind of what I was saying is I think you were probably on Real Clear Politics, clicked on this Riding the Dragon, which took you to just the news and that article.
Okay.
But I'm speculating I'm guessing on that.
Yeah, I've never heard of just the news, no.
Right. Which made me think then that you were on Real Clear Politics, clicked on an article, and they probably have it embedded in their site that you go to these sites for the article.
Right.
But you don't remember reading that article at all?
Okay. Like I said, I glance at headlines at best.
Well, like I said, I know you said you glanced at headlines. This one, you actually went into the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you actually,
Right, but
it went and it took you to the article.
right, yeah.
So,
But then that's the headline there. Yeah.
mhm. So,
My recollection is I'm getting rid of distractions because I'm going to think about those two cases. I know those cases. I'm setting it down, shutting it off.
That
He's thinking about those cases. What cases is he thinking about? You know, what's so dang important that he went from, like, his train of thought when driving is like squirrel, article, this, that. Like, dude, this dude is constantly distracted when he's driving.
Part of, like we were just talking about, Jason, and the part that you had told us in our last interview where it was, I didn't see what I hit until the impact.
Mm-hmm. Well, I never saw.
That's your quote.
Okay.
So in light of that, that would make sense. That right there would make sense. You're putting it down, wham, and then your head's up. It's like I just hit something.
Again,
does that sound logical?
Well, I'm getting rid of distractions, and I look, like I said, I remember my hand, for that radio, and then to the speedometer is what I believe happened.
Remember the body language? The body language that, where his phone's at?
So you had your phone call. This is back up a little bit.
Okay.
So you had your phone call, and then
With my father, are we talking about?
Yep. And then even the second one with your dad. How about on your way there? Were you on your phone talking to anybody then? Do you remember what you were looking at when you were driving out there?
No, I don't think I called anybody.
Okay. Do you remember what you were looking at?
I might have looked at articles and stuff again, yes.
And it's hard. Because
Right.
I've driven it.
Right.
It is not an exciting road.
Right.
I can guarantee you that. And
But I do remember I listened, like I told you before, I started to listen to these, and they're in the car yet, I told you, the discs. They're books on tape.
Yeah.
And I listened to them for a while, but I just didn't like either one of them.
yeah, you said they didn't.
Yeah,
They were not intriguing at all.
Right.
So, do you do both then? Were you on your phone while you're listening to the book?
Usually not, no. It's one or the other, yeah.
How much time did you spend looking for your insurance card?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
The insurance card took a little longer. I mean, the other was right there. And then, because I remember I looked at it, and then it was not the right one. It's like the year behind.
Sure.
And I looked at it, and that wasn't right. And I looked at it a little while longer, and I took it back to the sheriff. And then I said, I don't got the right one, I mean, I think he was writing it out, and he says, hell, nobody's got the right one. Usually I got about 5 of them in the car. He said something to that effect.
Sure. And that was on the visor. The other was in the glove box.
The glove box, yes.
Did you have to take things out of the glove
Yes,
box?
I had to move stuff around, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you notice anything on the passenger side while you were doing that?
Just glass. I mean, I was staying away from the glass, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time.
So when you're doing that, are you leaning over the console?
Yes,
or are you...
from the driver's door, leaning over, yes.
Okay. So you can kind of see in the glove box, and
Right.
which
And
is already
like I said,
popped open.
It's already popped open, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, for time's sake, I don't have a way to get back to it right now, but the reason they asked that question was because they found a pair of glasses inside the vehicle. They asked Jason about glasses and types of glasses that he wears, and his eyesight being what it is, he has no need for cheater glasses. And so they They described some glasses in the previous interview. If you watched it, then you'll know what they're talking about. So if not, go back and watch it.
So
they're both taking notes
did you
on
see
that.
The glasses right next to that.
I did not.
Okay.
You showed me the glasses the first time.
They're
the first time.
They're Joe's glasses.
I wondered about that.
And there it is. There it is. He saw glasses, okay, that were not his, and they were inside the vehicle.
His face came through your windshield.
Go ahead, listen to that one more time. Listen to that one more time. Watch his reaction.
The first time.
The first time. They're Joe's glasses.
I wondered about that.
I was wondering about that.
His face came through your windshield.
That means his face came through your windshield.
I wondered about that.
The first time. They're Joe's glasses.
I wondered about that.
So that means his face came through your windshield.
His face went through your windshield. Jason Ravnsborg car. I gotta type it all out. His face went through your windshield, Jason. Remember when the first image was leaked? Remember that one? Anybody? The first image. Let's go ahead and make that as big screen as we can. Perfect. His face went through your windshield, Jason. There is a hole in the glass where his face went through your windshield. I mean, how ridiculous. And just so we're aware how big that hole is, there's one more picture here that shows just how big the hole is. It's a little pixelated because it was taken from a distance. And you can see how big that hole is there. That hole is pretty large hole. That's where Joe's head went through the windshield. Through the windshield.
Oh. The first time. They're Joe's glasses.
I wondered about that.
So that means his face came through your windshield. It's a tough thing.
Oh. I was thinking that his face did not come through because there would have been blood. I thought there'd been blood everywhere then. Now, after I thought about it.
Yeah, and you've had time. Right. His glasses are right there, Jason. Those are Joe's.
I did not see the glass until you showed me.
Sure. So the only way for them to get there is through the windshield. At the impact, did you look over and see anything?
I did not see any. I mean, it was. Again, I then was looking to get it to the side. I did not see anything. No, absolutely not. Not. It shattered, and I probably cringed or something. But I was just trying to get it to the side. I did not see him. I did not know there was a human until the next day.
Okay, so when the glasses are in there, it's like his lenses, and we have a witness. We've talked to witnesses that actually had seen him out there as well.
I did not see those glasses until you showed.
Yeah, and so we know they're Joe's. Okay, and I know that doesn't help you feel any better.
Oh, no.
And I know you feel bad about this, Jason.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
no matter what happened, somebody died.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, I mean, you have to look at it from our
absolutely
our side of it. We're just trying to find the facts. We know what we know, and then we're explaining it, as best as we can. We know certain things. We know those are his glasses. They were on his head because they were seen on his head. They ended up in your car.
I never saw him until you showed him to me.
Okay.
I never saw them, no.
One of the other things that we know, Jason, is you weren't in the middle of the road. You were on the shoulder. And I know it happens fast because it's happened to me. We have 3 people putting him next to the grass. So we knew something was happening. I mean, you're a smart man. You know, Joe and I have done this job a long time. We know. Joe.
I don't remember. I remember being in the road, but she'll show me what the evidence shows. But.
Yeah. So part of the evidence that is really convincing is there is bone scrape on the inside of the rumble bars, and that's where his leg was likely broke. That's where the pieces were at.
So how did he get farther down the road? I mean, did he ride? How did that?
His face was in your windshield, Jason. Think about that.
And you're going 65 to 70 miles per hour. So from the time it takes you to slow down, and you figure how far you went at 65 to 70 miles per hour just before it clicks that you need to stop.
But it doesn't show that I braked a few times? I trying to stop?
It wasn't, we tested your brakes worked fine. There's also ABS, so they don't skid.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that. Yes, I've heard about that.
So not only do they not skid, they slow you down relatively fast, but they don't skid because each one of the brakes are working independently.
Okay.
Each wheel.
I don't,
So
understand all that, but yes, I understand.
So that's kind of how that works.
Okay.
And so you got to think about the momentum, and as you're going, sooner or later, the stopping power is going to make him pop out.
Okay.
And he goes into the ditch.
And you would think, I thought, if that's what happened, he, braking multiple times, he'd have fallen off, not just at the last time. Because, I never saw him in relation to the car. So I don't know where he was in relation to the car.
You mean as his body?
Yeah.
His body-wise, or
right,
what are you trying to? Okay.
Yeah, because the car they took away, and I found the body the next day. I never saw the car with the body, or vice versa,
We know that his face came through your windshield. We know that. We already talked about that. That's, I would think, substantially clear that that's what happened. We also have the imprint on the hood where his body, well, at least part of his body likely was riding. At some point in time, he rolls off, takes out the mirror, and slides into the ditch. I want you to be really honest right now.
I am. I never saw him.
I got another question for you.
Okay.
Did you see the flashlight he was carrying?
No.
Ever? When you walked back to town?
No flashlight.
It was pitch dark out there.
Right.
Is it just me, or can you see that guy's vein popping out of his skull right now?
Dark. We went out and tested it.
Okay.
We picked up the flashlight.
Right. Okay.
The flashlight was still on when Joe and I got to the scene.
Okay.
It had not been touched.
Uh-huh.
We picked it up and the light is still on.
Okay.
We talked to a witness that had just seen the light, had seen him walking with the light.
Okay.
After the crash, did you see that light in the dark? Because it's pitch dark. If there's something glowing,
right,
it would make sense for you to see it.
Right. I did not see any light, no.
Are you certain?
I am absolutely certain.
Just because
He's
Jason,
shaking
we
his
went out
head
there
no.
another night with that flashlight recently and put it back in the same spot it was in with it back on. And it's hard to miss. I mean, it truly is hard to miss when you're out there, especially if you're walking back towards Highmore.
Right. And we walked on both sides of the highway to give, we wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. No, absolutely. We wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. Because we knew you walked towards Highmore. Yes. So on your way back, we walked on both the south side and the north side. And that flashlight was like a beacon.
That flashlight was like a beacon. A beacon! So now this implicates the sheriff, the responding sheriff's deputy. This implicates Jason, obviously, himself. And again, the people that are out there today saying he's innocent or just deserves manslaughter, or not manslaughter, misdemeanors, excuse me, he deserves. At this point, I'm questioning whether or not it's even worse than, if there's something even worse than vehicular homicide. Yeah. Wow. And holy shit. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot to tear apart in that. A lot. And again, as you can see, we're at an hour and 18 minutes in. No Devin Saxon. So what I'll do is today after Adam versus the Man, I'll come back for a second part. And we'll finish this up. Maybe I can actually get Devin Saxon to actually come on this broadcast, because apparently we can beat the government, sleeping in until noon. I don't know what he's thinking, but anyways, yeah, this is a interesting spot, right? So I've got about 10 more minutes here until I got to get to Adam versus the Man. So I'm going to let it roll. Keep your comments and keep teasing Mr. Me here, and yeah.
I don't know if I turned around at the wrong spot then or what. I don't know. I did not see a flashlight. I didn't see him in the face. No, I did not. I did not. I did not know it was a man until the next day. No.
I think you had an idea it was something other than a deer, though.
I just believed it was a deer. I do. I know it sounds, but I've never hit a man before. I've hit a deer, because that's the time of season to do that.
Most people that hit people for the first time can say that they've never hit a person before, just for the record.
Your 911 call, though, Jason, you say, I hit something.
Right, because I don't know what it was, but I assumed it was a deer. I never saw a deer. I never saw a man. I just assumed it was a deer. I hit something. I just assumed it was a deer. Because what else would there be? I had no, and I still don't believe, I would not expect a man to be on the side of the road in dark like it was. I would not think that a person would be out there at that time. I would think a deer, though, would hit you at that time in this season with crops and everything. I did not know. I did not know it was a man until the next day. And I guess the best
Well, that's weird, huh? Let me know when you guys can see me again.
Oh, well, I'm on my mobile phone now because my internet just got shut off. How the hell did that just happen? It's not working right now. Go figure. Well, that is some shit. The internet just shut down. Froze again, you're back. Yeah, it's probably a delay too. Well, we're getting to the good stuff. I mean, we are literally just getting to the good stuff. He's about to do the 73-second redacted freakout. That's some bullshit. I got a show to produce here in 20 minutes, and the internet's not working. Lovely. That's fucking nuts. I don't know what to tell you guys. And it just all shut down. That's some bullshit. Well, hopefully I'll get it fixed by the time the show starts. I'm going to go work on that right now and figure out what the hell happened. But I'm not going to be conspiratorial at the moment. But yeah, that's some bullshit. My internet just got shut off. So I'll be back. We'll see you guys a little bit later this afternoon.